What's up, it? Yeah, if you saw the last video, yeah, we just saw Deadpool. Very interesting case of comic book movie. It doesn't even necessarily feel like a comic book movie like all the other Marvel movies that you've seen before. There's like, discard any sort of Disney MCU universe stuff.
Well, it's not because it's made by Fox's Marvel.
I did not know that until you told me about it earlier today.
And it seems like in this movie they are trying to do what the Marvel Cinematic Universe is doing, where we're going to kind of combine it all into one universe where they keep, well, I mean, okay, this co-stars other X-Men that we haven't met yet. At least I think we haven't met yet. What's his name? Chrome Dome and Nuclear Warhead?
Colossus. I think that's his real name.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Colossus is his real name, and Nuclear Trends something. The coolest name ever.
Yeah, I'm just calling her Nuclear Warhead.
All right. And she's an angsty teen, which it bluntly says it in the credits, which is actually...
That actually might be the best part of the movie. The opening of this movie is basically a slow motion panoramic shot.
It's not even motion; it's just a still shot of.
But it's like in Bullet Time, I guess, where everyone's kind of it's in the midst of a car flipping, and it's to the song "Darling Angel," and the credits themselves apparently were written by Deadpool himself, because it's like produced by a bunch of asshats, or starring
God's greatest idiot.
Yep.
And starring a hot chick, the comedy relief, a CG character, an angsty teen,
a gratuitous cameo, which was in the form of Stan Lee,
British villain.
Yeah.
That Stan Lee cameo is the best.
Yes, he's in a strip club.
He's the MC at a strip club, which Deadpool's girlfriend works at. Well, if you don't know the story, a guy named Wade Wilson, who is a mercenary for hire via former military background, he falls in love. He gets a girlfriend there. It's actually a believable romance, and boop, he gets cancer, everywhere. This is uber cancer. He's got it in his liver, pancreas, lungs, and brain. And the only way that he's supposedly able to survive is if he undergoes this weird program where, inevitably enough, it isn't necessarily helping, even though it has cured him. It fucked up his skin, and he actually looks a lot worse. Not like worse as in like design or detail, but like actual like looks worse. He does look like Freddy Krueger a little bit.
He really, though, in the grand scheme of it, he really doesn't look that bad. They're trying to see if you see the trailers and they're like, "Oh my God, you look terrible." He looked
like a testicle with teeth.
He really doesn't look that awful. It's kind of a case with the movie, or like the visuals don't match the tone. Almost as bad as like in Sin City with the I forget his name, but Marv, where he's like, "I'm so ugly I can't buy a woman." It's like, dude, you really don't look that bad. Come on.
He still looks kind of bad in this, at least.
He looks like burn scars, really. That's all it is.
It's still burn. Have you seen burn? You've had burn scars all over your body.
Well, look up when you get home. Look in the comic. Look up some comic images. He looks way worse in there. He looks like.
But then again, that's a different art form where you can get away with, arguably, you could get away with a lot more gratuity.
Yeah.
Even though there's no shortage of gratuity in this, because, yeah, Like Batman would be ashamed of this guy because every person that Deadpool comes across, slice and dice everywhere. But at least it's not as like grim or like splatter everywhere as Kick-Ass was,
which I'm a little disappointed in. Let me get my general thoughts of this movie out of the way first. I think it's half a really, really good comic book movie, or just movie in general. I know it's not trying to be a traditional one, but for everything it does right, it does something so wrong and so stupid, and sometimes it's not even the movie's fault. It's just the concept of Deadpool as a whole doesn't click with me as good. And I can explain more of that later, but you can tell your part.
Well, I actually really liked it. I thought it was very enjoyable. I thought this was actually a refreshing take on a comic book movie, because the stuff with the other Marvel movies where they partially force comedy into their movies just to be marketable.
Partially.
Easy.
Partially.
He's anti-Disney MCU.
I am not anti-Disney or anti-Marvel. I'm anti-shitty comic book movie. All right, look, I can't dance around it much longer. Majority of the Marvel movies, not all of them, but the majority of them, I do not like. Not because I'm a DC fanboy or anything like that. It's just that when I watch comic book movies or when I read comic books, I like to see superheroes doing heroic things, and I like to see villains be actual villainous and intimidating people. In Marvel movies, what do I get? I get a bunch of dickheads fighting bullying a bunch of other dickheads. It's really irritating, especially since in like the Iron Man sequels, Tony Stark is so annoying and so much of a dick, I'm actually rooting for the villains to kick his teeth in. In Deadpool, like in comparison to Deadpool, the reason why I think this movie works better than those is because his dickishness, like Deadpool himself, he wears it on his sleeve, okay? He even says, like, I'm not a superhero, so don't expect anything. And they even make a joke about it where it's like, I'm sure you're leaning over to your girlfriend right now, your girlfriend's leaning over to you now and saying, I thought he said this was a superhero movie, but he just turned him into a fucking shish kebab. It was a joke. That was a joke in the trailer, and so, okay, yeah, that's kind of funny how you don't usually get to see this kind of violence in comic book movies, but even then, in the grand scheme of it all, it's not that gory, and that's, again, just a little disappointing to me because I kind of wanted to see more of that in a Deadpool movie.
Granted, it does show a decent amount of violence. It does show bullets flying through people's heads and skulls not fully exploding, but just like it doesn't. It's not straying away from gruesomeness. It just doesn't do it at the ante that some people would think it would be.
It's relatively tamed, even for a rated R movie. I think this is mostly rated R for language than it is
language, nudity,
a little bit of nudity. I think you see
strip club.
Yeah, you see a few tits. You see one shot of his balls in this one fight scene where he's naked. It's when
I didn't see the balls. There are a couple not close up, but just decent shots of his ass.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's kind of his tagline. It's like, I'm an assassin, double the ass and sin. Something like that. But no, there's a fight where in the laboratory.
Yeah.
Okay, well, he's naked, and when he falls to the ground and gets back up, you get a clear view of his dick. But it's, okay, realistically, it's not gratuitous nudity. It's just kind of, I don't know, extra guarantee that you'll get a rated R. I don't know. The production of this movie was really weird because at first it was like, yes, we're definitely going to do it a rated R movie, and then I heard an announcement saying that, oh no, we're going to make it PG-13 to make it more marketable.
If this was PG-13, it would have sucked.
Yeah,
because then it would have had to cut everything, and there would have been no point, pretty much.
Well, yeah, and then with the outrage that caused of that, then it went back to rated R. Ryan Reynolds, even in one of his interviews, said that one of the jokes, if this was going to stay a PG-13 movie, was that he was going to have to stop himself from saying the F word and then use it once at the end, and then I don't know, pull out some paperwork, and I don't know. Think about Deadpool, in case you don't. I don't know why you wouldn't know what Deadpool is, but his shtick is that he exists on another plane of existence,
and he's just a smartass.
He knows every form of media that he's in. He knows he's in a comic book. He knows he's in a movie. He has some it's confusing because it varies heavily, but he has some manipulation over it, and he has some knowledge of what's to come, but he never uses it to his advantage. It never gets in the way. Nobody ever questions it.
But it's like it's an already told story, and he's just the narrator. That's how I saw it as. I didn't try and think into that as much because I was just focusing on what was happening on the screen, and I was still very entertained by this.
I'm not gonna say there weren't.
It's far from perfect, but there are so many good things about this that it overlooks a couple like bad jokes or even some of the narration.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's kind of the same. Well, not really. You like this movie a lot more than I do. I don't want people to get the impression that I hate this movie just because it's Marvel.
But you think it's okay?
I think it's okay, but it's one half a good movie, and I mean that in every way. Like, how's the action? Well, some of it's good, some of it's bad. It depends on the scene.
What part of the action was bad, or what? Well, ones that scenes that you thought.
Well, this goes along with the reason why Deadpool to me is a bit of a flawed concept, is that when it's clearly shown, the thing about Deadpool is that he can regenerate from anything, even like a pile of ashes, if he so desires.
Because he's gone through this procedure where he's been injected with some form of serum, and now that his oxygen levels are whatever, he can regenerate, and he's almost indestructible.
Well, he is indestructible. So some of the fight scenes where it's just him one-on-one with some random merc and everything, and it really, to me, it almost seems pointless because, well, one, none of these things hurt you, so I feel like, why are you wasting your time trying to fight so eloquently acting like I can't get hit, otherwise it might affect me somehow. No, it doesn't. You takes knives to the head. He gets shot through the throat. Yeah, all this shit happens to him, and he just walks it off. I know that's Deadpool, but it takes the piss out of a lot of action sequences when there are no stakes. There is nothing on the line, and at times, it almost seems like the action is just pointless. It'd be one thing if he like makes it as big and as epic as he does purely because he has a huge ego, but no, he's clearly like running away scared, and he's like dodging bullets, and he's like, damn it, we're in a tight spot. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're fucking Deadpool. You could easily just walk up to every one of these people and stab them one by one.
That's what he does. He does crazy flips and slice and dices everybody.
No, I mean not like that. Not like Ninja having to dodge bullets. I mean,
but
just casually walk up, stab, walk up, stab. Oh, you shot me. Whatever, stab.
But it's not like he doesn't. It's not like he doesn't feel pain if he's ever shot.
He doesn't feel pain.
I disagree. There's a handful of points where he actually says that he feels pain. He breaks his both of his wrists and one of his ankles trying to take down Colossus, which I actually
that was really funny. I thought that was hilarious. So there's good things in this movie and there's bad things. There's a lot of really funny jokes and there's a lot of really shitty jokes. Really shitty, almost standard Marvel movie bullshit jokes.
All coming from what I think is the best part of this movie, and that's Deadpool himself. You got your chance. This is mine.
Okay.
This is the perfect casting for Ryan Reynolds. He's been in so much.
He's wanted to play Deadpool for the longest time, even before Wolverine Origins, where he did play a version of Deadpool in that,
which was just an excuse for a hot guy to wheel around blades. But this works out perfectly for him because it's mixing in one of the more famous characters that he's ever played, Van Wilder, that exact persona with superpowers, pretty much. This is the perfect casting. And they actually luckily they throw in a joke about how shitty Green Lantern was, because before he is taken in for his operation or whatever, he's like, "Don't put me in green spandex. Don't make me animated either." So I thought that was a nice little jab at his former comic book prowess. But yeah, I still think this is perfect for him because his smarmy acting, his delivery is perfect. His acting is actually pretty okay when it needs to be serious. And again, pretty okay, not like amazing Oscar-worthy stuff. But he does it
very rare. Does he do anything serious in this movie?
Which is perfect for him.
I understand.
He's meant to be a smarmy asshole.
I get that. You really like cutting me off before I get a word out. I'm saying it's not that I wanted Deadpool to be more serious. It's that it's hard when it's hard to understand why when he is.
I thought it was perfectly understandable for when he was serious because all his seriousness revolves around getting his revenge and getting his girl. Or not getting his girl, but just how he can. The reason that he doesn't ever approach her is because he loves her too much in order for her to be shocked by his new looks. And he cares about her enough where...
Which can I just say one thing?
What?
Really, it's really stupid how it's all based around, well, no, I don't look pretty anymore, so therefore I can't be around her.
But he doesn't want to scare her, though. Remember in
he doesn't... Going back to my thing, he doesn't look that bad. And second...
Opinions vary about looks.
It'd be a lot more noble for him to say, well, no, I don't want her in my life because I know there are bad people after me.
Which is why he went to go get her at the strip club so that she wouldn't get hurt. But he was taken aback by his fear of her not wanting him anymore.
Which, in the grand scheme of things, is really petty. I'm sorry to shit on everybody's fun, but again, these are things that people need to take into consideration when you're making a superhero that's supposed to be so uber violent, quirky, and otherwise just
So you thought this
batshit insane.
So you thought everything should have been turned up 5 notches.
Yes, I do.
I thought the lowbrow comedy was at a high point. I did really like the action. I like that it didn't go to full extreme, I fucking hate Kick-Ass because of how gruesome it was. And I thought the tonal consistency was really off. At least this has a tongue-in-cheek attitude, but it is very violent. It is pretty violent. People getting sliced on the highway, like shot directly between the fucking eyes. This guy has an amazing aim, and there is a decent amount of gore in this, but it's not anything where you're squirming.
Nah, there's, like I said, it's a soft R in terms of violence.
I thought
there's even a scene where okay, one of his fourth wall jokes is he finds one of the guys that got him into the superhero program, and it's like shh, don't say anything, and then he like pushes the kids like you aren't gonna want to see this, and it's
it
like
literally moves the camera away.
Yep,
and
like,
all it is just him he's breaking every single one of his fingers.
Yeah, and that point I'm like, really? That's the violent thing you can't show?
Now, I just thought it was funny that he didn't want us to see something so petty. This little piggy went to market. This little piggy stayed home. And they actually did the same thing in Shoot 'Em Up. It was with Clive Owen and Paul Giamatti. It was a torture scene and break every single one of their fingers. And you know how easy that is, right?
Yes.
It's like breaking a carrot.
Well, yeah. I mean, honestly, all I can think of is Blade Runner.
Ooh, yeah.
It's like
this one's for Zora. This one's for Pris. Yeah. Even just hearing his fingers crack got me a little squirmish, because so much pain can come out of one little click. Mm-hmm. Now, what else did you think of the comedy, though?
Like I said, it really differed from scene to scene, and most of the time, him in costume in Deadpool was really funny. Like, a lot of his quirks, a lot of his jokes were, in my opinion, spot on. But when he has to play Wade Wilson, and when he's supposed to be doing like casual talk with a lot of people, it gets really irritating and really exhausting. Exhausting in the sense that it's like, oh wait, was that a joke? I don't know. I wasn't listening. It was because it was kind of buried under the million other jokes you've been telling this entire goddamn movie. And I know that contradicts what I said, where I think that everything should be cranked up to 11. Not necessarily that he should be more
spewing jokes constantly.
Should be spewing jokes constantly, but I mean that I feel like he should be a little bit more self-aware. I think that's what I'm trying to say.
I thought he was very self-aware with constantly breaking the fourth wall. There are so many fourth wall jokes in this. It is ridiculous.
Yeah, and I know that's Deadpool's shtick altogether. But I'm wondering, it goes along with the concept of Deadpool as a whole. Why does that never get brought up in like any conceptual form? And even his friend, in some way has like these fourth wall powers. I don't know why, and that makes it even more confusing.
Wait, what fourth wall powers did he have?
Well, his friend is like
T.J. Miller.
Yeah, his bar friend. He hands him a card. It's like, that guy over there, you should better talk to him and further the plot. It's like,
I thought that was actually pretty funny.
How do you know? So, God. It's so hard for me to explain without actually showing bits and pieces of the movie, because I guess that's what I'm used to. At least that's what I'm used to writing about. I sometimes write video reviews of my own, but so in that regard, Deadpool is the kind of guy that is ripe for satire. He's ripe for over the top action. He's ripe for almost even God, how do you say it? A complete riff in comic book universes as a whole, because he understands what he's in. He understands the surrounding nature of it. He makes jokes about movies. He makes jokes about I don't mean like just references. He makes jokes about movie production that he's currently in. I mean, one scene where he
constantly makes jokes about the X-Men.
Yeah.
It's like the studio couldn't afford more X-Men because it constantly pans to the Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters.
Yeah.
And it's only the Teen, Nuclear Warhead, and Colossus. It's like, such a big house for only two of you. It's like the studio couldn't afford more X-Men.
Yeah. So that's the way I see it. I feel like this movie didn't utilize Deadpool as well, and just more or less tried to tell a bog standard comic book revenge slash save the girl tale.
That's what I actually liked about it, is that it kept the story simple instead of having it go everywhere.
Okay.
And having to concentrate on many different points. It's just you see a guy go through a tragic event, go through a transformation, get revenge, and get his girl.
All right.
Happy ending. That's fine. It doesn't have to go everywhere with.
I just think if you have Deadpool's a character that can be utilized to do some weird, zany fucking things, and it you use it to also be able to crank up the action, the gore, and everything else. And so I guess that's my thoughts in a nutshell. I think for what they did, like the execution.
This is also a first-time director as well.
Okay.
So you got to give him credit for actually getting a ball rolling with his first movie.
The execution of the character Deadpool is pretty much spot on. I just wish that he was in a more wilder, zanier story for who he is.
So you feel about this the same way that I felt about Krampus.
I guess so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that at least gives me an idea. But I thought this was very enjoyable. I thought this was a lot of fun, and that's my key word, fun.
It's worth seeing
because it's a simple story. I thought the action was very entertaining, but didn't go to a gigantic extent. He's actually pretty good with a bunch of ninja moves, and I actually do really like that. That they didn't completely go off source, and since he was indestructible, they didn't make him this gigantic, beastly, bulking looking motherfucker. They actually still just kept it as a regular guy and regular size, but just, oh yeah, fuck you, I'm gonna kill you.
Well, yeah.
And
the rest of my complaints about the movie are more or less nitpicks, like jokes that to me were really poorly written.
No, I thought it was really funny. I thought the comedy was
most of it, half of it is good. Other half of it is like shit, like hashtag dry heave.
No, drive by.
Or
because he should have said hashtag crop dust. Because he just farted and he's leaving her to smell it.
Which is really stupid. I'm sorry. It's just dumb.
But then again, it's only one fart joke out of an entire movie.
But there's other really stupid jokes in there too. Like, oh god, there was one in with him and the pizza guy. Or okay, the first time we meet Wade Wilson is he's threatening this pizza delivery guy
for stalking a teenage girl.
Lightly stalking a teenage girl. And one of the jokes in there was, man, I will kill your cat. It's like, I don't have a cat.
Then yeah. Whose litter box did I shit in?
Whose litter box I just shit in? It's like, I'm just like, what?
Yeah, that was a little out of nowhere.
It really sounds like minus the swearing, it sounds like a joke I'd hear in some really bog standard shitty animated movie.
I thought it was fine, and all coming from just this deadpan seriousness, like deadpan serious face that he always holds. I think this is perfect for Ryan Reynolds. I actually thought he did really well in this.
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds is always wanted to be Deadpool. Now he finally gets to do it, and he doesn't fuck it up. I mean, my complaints about Wade Wilson aside, he is essentially,
he is Deadpool.
He is Deadpool. So that much is good. Some of the supporting characters, I feel like I could have done without. It started to feel like too much like a Marvel movie when you have these characters that are just here for comedic relief and just here to spout out jokes, although they fit in a little bit better because that is also who Deadpool is, so beggars can't be choosers.
I really enjoyed it. I thought the action was still pretty good. The way that he mixes in, he's a ninja assassin pretty much. He's great with moves, he's great with the blades. He's also a really fucking good aim with a shot.
He didn't get to use as many guns as I would have hoped in this movie.
But then again, that leads to a couple of really good jokes. Shit, I forgot my ammo bag.
Oh yeah, that was pretty funny. There's one bit where he has this whole ammo bag. It's in a Hello Kitty bag.
A Hello Kitty duffel bag.
Yep, and so he takes a cab to the bad guy's hideout and everything, and then the girl's like, do you remember your duffel bag? And he's like, shit! And it's in and of course he pulls out his cell phone and he's like, oh god,
come on, answer.
Yeah,
he's calling the cab driver because he's giving him like dating advice, which is very sadistic. Kidnap and kill the guy who is taking his place.
Yeah.
Which darkly funny, I thought. Well,
yeah. So, all in all, I think the half of this movie is good enough to worth seeing. I'm sure you recommend it too.
Oh, absolutely. I recommend it. I highly recommend it. This is not for kids at all. Very prominent early on.
Yeah.
But it's still a lot of fun. For me, it was just a fun, old-fashioned. This feels like a summer movie that was released in winter.
Well, yeah, this movie. He kind of joked about it, but this movie didn't have that high of a budget. $50 million, which is pretty.
That's okay.
It's tiny compared to what Marvel movies usually get.
Oh God.
And what they rake in. Mm-hmm. So,
but that's because. Then again, that's for the fanboys, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, highly recommend. Highly recommend. I thought it was really funny. The romance, I really believed. Because they're both because him and his girlfriend, they're both fucked up people. They have fucked up lives, and they can just coincide with each other.
I will say this though, it's again huge nitpick, but the first time we see her, the first time they're in bed and have sex, the next cutaway, they're like Happy Valentine's Day, and then it cuts later, and it's like, what is it? Happy
National Women's Day, I think.
National Women's Day or something. I thought it was a completely different woman.
No.
But then I'm supposed to, and it took me a while to realize. Oh wait, he's with the same girl.
Her hair is just growing out.
Well, it almost looked like she had a body double or a face double for a second there, because it looked different, and so that threw me off for a second when it's like, oh, he's with the same one. And speaking of, just gonna point out another pretty good joke in this movie that I at first rolled my eyes at, but they brought it around, where the camera angle, she's got her arms around him, and the camera angle makes it look like he's laying on top of her, and he says, "It's time to put some balls in holes," and it's like, oh my god, and then the camera tilts and zooms out, and it's like,
they're playing skee-ball. They're at an arcade.
They're in an arcade. It's like, oh, okay, that was pretty good.
See, it even got you.
Yep. You guys know I'm a comedy snob. Judging by my review of Trainwreck, I'm very, very picky when it comes to comedy, and it's almost single-handedly the reason why I don't like the vast majority of the Marvel movies I do, because some of their comedy in there,
it's really bad,
fucking terrible. Especially things like Captain America, the Iron Man sequels, the Thor sequel. Their comedy is just it's like made for a poorly low budget sitcom without a laugh track.
Barren wasteland. But the comedy in this is I'm not as snobbish as him, but I am picky. So, but a lot of this actually did make me laugh, and it was also on a consistent basis as well.
Yeah,
there are
when they hit the right mark, it hits just the right mark. And
exactly.
Even though you were laughing out loud the whole time, I was mostly laughing internally or gritting my teeth when there were some pretty bad jokes in there.
Even the bad jokes are actually somewhat passionate, I guess. So I just did a giggle, like, just something like that. But yeah. I highly recommend. You actually recommend?
I'll say it's worth a watch, but then again,
worth one watch.
At least one watch.
Okay.
Personally, for me, this is a one and done movie. I'm probably not going to watch it again willfully. But
unless I force you to.
Well, that's what I meant by willfully. So, but yeah, I'm glad I saw it. I hope in the coming sequels they can refine it. a little bit better. They can maybe take Deadpool to new heights. Use it as better. A better way of satirizing kind of comic books and comic book movies in general. Maybe take a few jabs at the Avengers. Wink. So
they did take a jab at the Avengers. They took a jab at Nick Fury. Sam, at okay, there's an Easter egg in this, and it satirizes Avengers by saying, "What? You thought you'd see Sam Jackson with an eye patch or some shit? Go home."
Yeah, they couldn't directly reference the Avengers though, because this is still Fox Marvel Universe, and
not Disney
they
Marvel.
only can talk about X-Men, which I felt was again, I just thought was a little disappointing, but it does make sense because I mean,
copyright,
legal issues and shit. It's funny he didn't make a joke about that.
Right.
Yeah.
But then again, he did make a jab about their own studio and their own budget.
Yeah. It's like I get to star in a few superhero movies with a few cameos and maybe even what, God, I can't. He talks so fast. I can't keep up.
That's why I liked it. Fast paced.
Yeah, it's got a decently good. It comes in snappy succession. So even when there's jokes that are bad, they don't hold on them for too long. So that's a plus.
Okay. One last point. Villain, good or bad? Okay.
Passable.
Okay.
That's it.
Better than Loki, I thought.
Yeah,
but then again, we didn't like Loki that much, so most villains are better than Loki.
Yeah.
But he is entertaining. He is entertaining in that he's just a smug prick who likes torturing people.
Yeah. There's nothing really good about him, but I can't point to anything and say that's awful. The only thing I will say, though, is I wish he had some better way of hurting Deadpool. I wish he had some advantage over Deadpool, because that would make.
But they're equal though. They're equal in that they can't. He physically can't feel pain.
But he can die still.
Yeah.
So it's almost reverse suspense, where you know Deadpool's not going to die, but you're just waiting for when the villain's going to die, and. Oh man, there's another good joke surrounding that, but I don't want to give it away.
Then don't.
We've given away too much of this movie, and we probably aren't going to need our review to figure out whether or not you want to go see it. So, if you're still watching this and you haven't yet, go watch it.
Get to it.
Have fun.
I know I did.
Yep. I had enough fun.
All right. I don't know what we're gonna see next, but we're gonna leave fate to do that.
Yep.
So, later.